In this video, I am going to talk about printer cartridges. Printer cartridges are nothing more than boxes full of ink and a sponge. Now, the outside of the printer cartridge is wrapped with a gold strip. Part of that gold strip contains resistors, which I will talk about in just a little bit. But right now, I want to focus on the sponge. The sponge itself can not only dry out, but it can also develop air bubbles, which will prevent ink from passing through the sponge and hitting your paper. If this happens, your printer cartridge will become useless. And that means you will have to replace the sponge in your printer cartridge. Well, if you aren't somebody who manufactures printer cartridges, you won't be able to open the printer cartridge up and replace the sponge. That means you'll have to recycle the entire printer cartridge. Now, the other thing about the sponge is that it can also dry out. So, when your computer indicates to you that your printer cartridge ink is low, it is very important that when you remove the printer cartridge from your printer, that you immediately put it in a plastic bag. Otherwise, that sponge will dry out, and thus the printer cartridge will become useless. But now I will talk about the resistors. Many people will continue to try to print documents with their printer cartridge even though the computer has told them that the printer cartridge ink is low. This is a bad idea because the resistors can overheat trying to do this and thus malfunction. And once they malfunction, your printer cartridge is useless. Then you have to recycle the cartridge. So it is very important when your printer sends a signal to your computer that your ink is low, that you immediately remove the printer cartridge from the printer and place it in a plastic bag. Otherwise, your printer cartridge will never be able to be refilled and you're just out a printer cartridge. I hope this cleared up some confusion. I will talk about some other things in a future video, so stay tuned.